Good morning all of you. Welcome to the online classes of TMPS. Welcome back class 8. Today we'll be discussing about the chapter number 2 of your geography, that is population dynamics. Basically population dynamics, and the third chapter, that is your population and overpopulation and underpopulation. That is a clubbed together chapter that has to be studied together. So basically we'll be finishing these two chapters together, and then I'll be providing you with the question answers and other things. So first of all, we'll be focusing on the second chapter, that is population dynamics. Let's get started. Now, what do you understand by the term population dynamics? What is population? Population means the number of people which are living in a particular country or a particular place. So what is population? Now you should understand. हिंदी में आपने सुना होगा जनसंख्या. Correct. The number of people which are living in a particular place or particular country, that is known as a population. What is density of population? The number of people which are living in per kilometer square of a area. The density of a population in a particular place depends upon the amenities, the facilities which are dependent in a particular place, availability of the jobs, and other things which are very important for the growth and survival of a people in a particular country. So in this chapter we'll be studying that what are the factors which determine the population structure, population composition, sex ratio of a particular country, and what is population dynamics. So first topic, what is population dynamics? Population dynamics is the structure that we'll be studying about the total composition of the population in a country, and the sex ratio, the age ratio, as well as the factors which are essential for determining the dynamic situation of a country, growth of population in a country, that we'll be studying in this chapter. So, I hope population dynamics is clear to you. Population dynamics refers to the structural growth of population in a country, which depends upon certain factors such as birth rate, death rate, immigration, and that is emigration. Immigration, emigration, these are two different words. We'll be studying it when we'll be studying in details. So, when we talk about this dynamic situation, why it is dynamic? Dynamic means a situation that keeps on changing. It is not permanent in a particular place. Can you say that a population is always same in a particular place? No. I can give you a classic example for that. In India, the population is always high. You know that. But take an example of a country that I am telling you, that is UAE. UAE is a collection of Emirates. Dubai is among that. Dubai was inhabitable before 40 years. Before 40 years, what happened? 40 years before, the people were not settling there because it was too hard to live there. The geographical conditions were not well. The people were not happy with their living there, so they were not living there. But now the civic amenities has grown so much. It has become a tourist hub, and the population of that particular place have increased a lot, and the facilities have increased. So the population dynamics basically means that it keeps on changing with time, and it does not remain stagnant, and it is always changing with time and place. It is a dynamic process. Static means which always remain the same. But can you be static? क्या आप हमेशा एक जैसे रह सकते हो? नहीं, और रहना भी नहीं चाहिए. So you should always be dynamic in nature. You should change according to the situation. बोलते हैं ना मम्मी पापा, ठीक है अभी नहीं, थोड़ी देर बाद करो. But you should do it. So be dynamic in your situations. So in the same manner, population is also dynamic, which changes with the change in different factors. So before starting the original factors, we'll be discussing about some basic factors. First is the demographic factors. What are demographic factors? Demographic factors refers to the amount of availability of land, fertile surface, growth of transport, growth of other facilities, there is availability of work to the people, the climate is suitable or not, if they have proper living conditions, then the people would be settling in a particular place. The best example is if you find a adequate temperature like in India and China, you will be settling more in a particular place. Suppose if we take example of India, India is a country which has a very beautiful type of climate where there is seasons. There are basic 4 seasons which are experienced in our country. In some places there are 6 seasons which are experienced. So the people are living in that particular place and they enjoy because the living conditions are proper. But if you go to a desert area, Rajasthan population is less as compared to Uttar Pradesh. Why? Uttar Pradesh is having fertile land, alluvial soil, good temperatures, good climatic conditions. Whereas Rajasthan does not experience that. Rajasthan has sandy conditions, they have sand, they have desert, so they do not have agriculture. The population does not have such a great advantage of living in a particular place and having lots of activities for doing for survival. That is why. Now, transportation also plays a very important role. When you have a well-connected area, you know now transportation has developed in our country. So when the transportation has developed in our country, so what happens when the transportation is good, then the country would grow in a proper manner. The people can go and work in a particular place, then they can come back. Suppose before 10-20 years the transportation was not so good. So the people were confined only to particular place. They were not going to other places for working. But now you see that the people are going. Take a classic example of Delhi, Mumbai. The people live in adjoining areas such as Lonavala in Mumbai, then they live in Pune. They daily do up and down with the help of local trains, with the help of other public utility services. In the Delhi region, there are NCR regions which have Noida, Ghaziabad, Gurgaon. They travel each other and they basically move from one place to another and go for work and then come back again. So these transportation factors also develop and play a very important role. Then we come to another factor, that is socio-religious factor. What is socio-religious factor? You know that population growth is also dependent upon the thinking of a particular community. In our Indian, there is lack of awareness among the people. We say that we have to create awareness among the people. That is why family planning program, Hum Do Hamare Do, that is now changed, Hum Do Hamara Ek Ho Jaye. So what happened that these have changed a lot with time. So that sense of awareness has to be created among the people, and when this awareness would be there, then the people would be working in a proper manner and they will not be making haphazard growth. Now religious beliefs, earlier the people used to believe that the children are a gift of God. So they used to have high population growth in the country. But now the things have changed a lot, and they should change because the population of a country should be controlled in a proper manner, because the resources have to be utilized properly. Simple, take an example. Suppose if your family is there and it has 4 people, your father earns 50,000 rupees a month. So what happens if 4 persons are there in a family? 50,000 divided by 4, 12,500 each is getting. Basically not, their father is not distributing that money, but on an average 12,500 can be spent on each of the person. But if a family has now 10 members and the father's income is 50,000 only, then 5,000 only can be spent. What happened? The resources have reduced. When the resources have reduced, what happened? You have to live a life which is not so content. You have to sometimes leave the things you want. That is why it is necessary that we should have a proper utilization of resources, and for that we should have a controlled population in a particular place. And in India, we should have a controlled population, because India is getting population growth in a very fast rate, and now it is an alarming situation for us, and we should control our population to get a proper resource and survival of our future generations. So first, now let us discuss the factors which affect the population dynamics. That population dynamics will be studying basically first birth rate. The basic thing, birth rate. What is birth rate? The number of children that take birth in a country per thousand. So what happens when the birth rate of a place is there? If simple, If the birth rate is high in a particular country, then the population growth would be high. If the birth rate is low in a country, then the population growth would be less. How can we control the birth rate of a particular place? We should have proper awareness among the people which are there in the country. The people should understand the importance of family planning. They should understand that the family should be small so that the resources can be utilized in a proper manner. That is known as the proper balancing of the birth rate. So birth rate is number of children that are taking birth per thousand, and that is a very important number because it determines the growth of population in our country. Next is the death rate. What is death rate? Number of people dying in a country per thousand of birth. What happened when you compare both of them? When the number of people die per thousand in comparison to the birth rate, death rate is important. Earlier what happened when a particular place, particular country, when we talk about India suppose, the birth rate in India is very high. In the recent year it has significantly came down because the awareness has increased, the family planning measures have increased. So it is now reflected on the birth rate also. But earlier the birth rate was very high in India, so the population growth was immense and at a very fast pace. Now, death rate. Earlier the death rate was also very high in India. Why the death rate was high in India? Because of the epidemics, because of the seasonal floods, seasonal droughts. There was no civic amenities, there was lack of facilities, lack of proper hospitalization, lack of proper growth of infrastructure. So people did not have money for their survival, as well as facilities were not adequate. So there was high birth rate, but high death rate also. But in the recent years, what has happened that the hospitalization facilities, healthcare facilities, you have seen that healthcare facilities have improved immensely. There has been vaccination, pulse polio, there has been proper eradication of certain diseases. Now vaccination is provided to the children, so that the death rate has reduced, and when death rate has reduced, so the population of a country increases. But death rate of a particular place should always be less. Because if the death rate is less, it is considered that country is growing and it has proper civic amenities and hospitalization and healthcare facilities. Next, what is IMR? देखिए, I have written one IMR, infant mortality rate. What is infant mortality rate? What happens when a child is taking birth? When a child is taking birth in the age which is between 0 to 1 year, it is the most vulnerable age. Why vulnerable age I am saying? Because many children in our country die due to malnutrition. Malnutrition means they do not get proper fooding, they do not get proper milk and other ammunitions, vaccinations and other things which are required for proper growth and development of the children, proper health facilities. So infant mortality rate in India was very high, 0 to 1 year. When a child was dying, that is known as IMR or infant mortality rate. So when infant were dying between the age of 0 to 1, that was not considered good. It was very high in India earlier, but now it has been controlled with the help of proper vaccination, proper healthcare facilities, and providing certain steps taken by the government, such as Anganwadi and the Matra Suraksha Yojana. These are different steps taken by the government to improve that facility. Next is immigration. What is immigration? There are two terms, IM migration and next is e-migration, correct? So immigration, what happens when the people from other countries come and settle in our country for getting their livelihood and settle down here. That is known as immigration. So when the people from other country come to our country and settle down, when they see that there is proper availability of jobs here, they would be happy, they would be living here. So that is known as immigration. So due to immigration also, the population of our country has increased, as well as the population of different developed countries increased due to immigration. Because the people try to settle in such a place where there is high growth of infrastructure, they have good proper growth of cities, towns, proper infrastructure is there, schooling is there, education is there. So people try to live in such a place which has all these facilities. That is why immigration, immigration, that is immigration, when people come to one's country and settle down there permanently, which is known as immigration. Now what is e-migration or emigration? So emigration or e-migration basically is a term which is the movement of people from one country to another country on a permanent basis. Suppose people leave our country. They leave our country and go to another country and settle down there permanently. That is emigration. Now, immigration and emigration. Now it is different. Immigration means when the people coming to our country and settling down here, which increases our population. And now it's immigration. Emigration when the people, e-migration, suppose if you can say that, so that you should not get it confused. E-migration, when the people move from our country and go to other country for settling down, that is not good on a part of a country, because many times the skilled people leave our country and go to other country and settle down. That phenomena is also known as brain drain. When the people from intellectual class, when they are studied and they leave our country and go to other country and settle down there, that is e-migration, or that is also known as basically brain drain phenomena. That is not good for our country. Migration, you all know, when the people come for a particular period of day in a particular place and then they go back, such as migratory birds. You must have heard about Siberian crane in Allahabad. You see that Prayagraj, in the region where Sangam is there, the Siberian crane come in the month of Jan, Feb, and they again migrate back. That is migratory bird which come for a particular period of time. I hope this topic is clear to you. Now the last topic of this chapter, which is a very important topic, that is population pyramid. What do you understand by the term population pyramid? Population pyramid or age gender pyramid, it is basically a graphical representation of the population in a country according to age and sex. Age and sex means when the age of a particular person is there, suppose child is there and older is there, we move from bottom to top. Suppose 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, and then the older one generation would be at the top. Next, the gender means one side we will be having males, so basically in the left side we take males and in the right side we take females. So population pyramids are basically the representation of the age gender pyramidal structure of a population of a particular place, when the population starts from the below 0 to 5 and goes till 100, the number of people which are there. When the population of a country is increasing, when it is growing, when it is having high value, then what would happen? The number of people which are young would be more, so it would form a pyramidal structure. What would happen? The age which is below, they are more, and the age which is less would be the higher age people, the older age people would be less, so it would form a pyramidal structure. That is why it is known as population pyramid. Sometimes when the middle-aged people would be more, the population of high-end people means old people would be less, as well as children are less, it would be fattened in the middle. When it would be basically having more children and less number of young or middle-aged people, and the olders are more, then what would happen? It would be broader at the base, in the middle it would be less thick, and then in the topmost it would again expand. So it shows a relationship of the population of a particular place or particular country in respect to the male-female ratio of a particular country. So this population pyramid can be made. Suppose I'll be showing you with an example and then we'll be winding up this topic. Suppose 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30, 30 to 35, 35 to 40. Suppose I take maximum age as 40 only. Now this would be male, this would be female. Many times it is represented with different colors. Male is represented by blue color and female is represented by the pink color, correct? Suppose the population is high in the case of the normal rate, then it would be less, then it would be more less, then so when you will be joining it, see that it is taking a shape of a pyramid, it is getting a type of a pyramidal shape that is known as population pyramid. Basically, this is the exact explanation. I'll be giving you some pictures also for that. You can go through that picture and make it properly by yourself. You can refer your textbook for regarding that. So I hope that population pyramid also clear. This chapter is over. Go through the video once again. If you have any problem, doubts, you can call me or text me. And if you have understood the video, we'll be having one more part of this of overpopulation and underpopulation, and then we'll be doing the question answer on this. Thank you very much.